Thanks for clicking on the Travel is Real channel. Enjoy this episode highlight and remember to like and do work on that subscribe button. In this part, and on a lighter note, Brian describes how he was able to make money in Vietnam. It's pretty hilarious and clever. Well, to take it to a more comical and positive note, one little story or anecdote you were telling me and a few other people here in Canggu was what was your normal meal in Mongolia?
The normal meal, yeah. So in Mongolia, you have your three basic food groups.
And what are the three basic food groups?
For the vegetarians, close your ears. But for the three major food groups are sheep, Snicker bars, and homemade vodka.
Sheep, Snicker bars, my favorite. Mm-hmm. Also, sheep is pretty good too.
Pretty good.
Sorry, vegetarians and vegans.
Sorry about that.
But it's a delicious animal.
Yeah, and they're free range. It's Mongolia.
Free range.
They're not in a cage.
GMO free.
GMO free. There's no antibiotics.
Excellent.
Yep.
So not processed.
If you're gonna have a sheep, go to Mongolia.
Nice. Good to know. Yep. And then homemade vodka.
Homemade vodka all the time. They actually in Mongolia they make a drink. It's also called arak, not to be confused with the arak here, but it's made from fermented horse milk, and it tastes like shampoo. It is nothing to brag to home about.
Ooh, yeah. Fermented horse milk.
Yep.
I've tried some weird things, but that might take the cake.
It's up there. You know, we had a lot of camel milk, which is good. Yeah. Sheep's milk or goat milk, delicious. Mm-hmm. Horse milk that's been in the sun for 2 weeks. I don't know. That's a little different.
That is much different. Holy dicks. That's
holy
pretty.
Dicks.
Holy dicks.
Yeah.
Why Snickers? Is that just the only?
Oh, that's like the go-to candy out there.
It is the go-to.
It's the go-to candy. You got peanuts in it.
Yeah, right. Vodka, Snickers, and lamb.
Yeah.
The cornerstone of any healthy meal.
Yeah, I've been food poisoned a couple times in the last half of year of backpacking, and I had the most healthiest stomach when I was in Mongolia.
Really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's it.
Well, good on you, Mongolia.
Yeah, it's a good place. Highly recommend it.
And then this other thing that I just really enjoyed, because you have so much training in, first responding, ambulance, just emergency situations. You have some. Safe to say that you have some medical training.
Little bit. Not too much.
More than the average backpacker traveler.
Yeah, more than the average backpacker. Yeah.
So you had a little business.
I had a business in Vietnam.
Which is good because for listeners, you see a lot of backpackers. The hell, even Vietnamese too. They get beat up on the road because there's always motorcycle accidents everywhere, and it's very, very common to see people in hostels and guest houses just bandaged, cut up, bruised up, all the time. Any hostel anywhere in Vietnam, you're gonna see some sort of half-assed bandaging, and some injuries. And so you
had a business.
You had a business because of that. Yeah. What did you do?
Well, I would go up and see these patients
patients
or whatever. Yeah, I'd see these. Get out of that setting. I'd see these backpackers, pretty cut up, and I'd say, "Hey, I'll fix you up real good. I'll clean that out, stitch you up, whatever you need. Just buy me a beer. That's all I can ask." And after a couple days, word spread that there was somebody who could clean them up on the road, and people were coming to me in certain hostels saying, "Hey, I heard you can, bandage me up." I'd say, "Yeah, you just buy me a beer and we'll start the work." And so I would literally keep pharmacies in business because I would go in and just buy so much stuff in bulk, for wound care management, and go back to the hostel. And I remember one time there was like 3 people waiting outside the door, and I'm just drinking beers, fixing people up, and some of the wounds were infected when I got to them. And there was one one guy, I really want to give him a shout out because he had a huge, like an 8-inch laceration down his tib fib, and the bone was showing. Like,
No.
It was one of the worst ones I saw in Vietnam, and he was cut up. And it had happened about 2 weeks before I had got to him. And it was black. It was, he had necrotic tissue. Like, it was infected.
Good God.
It was bad. And he was like, man, it's whatever. And I was like,
It's whatever, man.
Yeah. Like, no, man, that's not whatever. You're going to lose that fucking leg. So
That is the exact opposite of whatever.
Yeah. So I ended up traveling the country with this guy for 31 days. Yeah, I stuck with him. Great guy from the Netherlands. My favorite people, Dutchies. And
Shout out to the Netherlands.
shout out to the Netherlands, man. It's been a minute since I've been here in Canggu, but man, the Dutch are my favorite.
There were an abnormal amount of Dutch people in Vietnam.
Yes, yeah.
Same.
The Dutch travel a lot.
They do.
They do.
It's such a
Good
small-
for them.
Their country's so small. They
I
like,
know, yeah.
we need to get out.
Yeah, yeah.
Too many windmills.
Yeah, too many windmills, too much cheese. So great guy, traveled. He was in our group for the month, and as the month progressed, on the last day I saw him, his wound was closed up. We were dressing it and cleaning it 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. I wasn't even charging this guy beers anymore because he would be,
You might not have a leg if I don't help you.
Yeah. And so he's still got a wicked scar, but he's all cleaned up. The infection never got worse from where it was on day 0, and
Well, yeah, man, for people listening that have never been to, Southeast Asia, especially Vietnam, Vietnam's a great country, but, in the hotter, more tropical climates, infection is a serious business.
Yep.
It's very, the chance of a wound getting infected is much higher than, say, somewhere in the States.
Exactly. And a lot of that is the wound care. You clean it, you back home, you go home, take a shower, clean it, put some iodine on it, whatever. Here, you hop in the not here in Bali, but, in some of these other places, you go home, hop in the shower, and you've just introduced a whirlwind of bacteria into your fucking leg.
Yeah. I met a lot of different backpackers that were just like, oh man, I got this small cut on my leg, or a big burn, or a
exhaust burn.
Everyone, it's called a tattoo.
Yeah.
The Vietnamese tattoo. Typically it's found on the back part of your calf. It's on the back calf.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I had to go to a doctor, start taking antibiotics. So you really have to dress that wound morning, afternoon, and evening. And dress it well.
Yeah, you have to, because your risk of infection is 10 times.
Yeah. Man, so you were providing triage for beer.
Triage for beer.
Triage for beer. That should be a t-shirt.
That should be a t-shirt.
That's a band name.
I would.
And finally, Brian and I disclose our troubles with the worst type of cockblock. It's comedic, but also quite sad. Can we just touch upon how food poisoning can be a cockblock?
Yes, it can. Multiple times. So I was in Laos, one of my favorite countries out there. A lot of people skip it when they leave Vietnam and go towards Cambodia and into Thailand. But Laos, I highly recommend, traveling that country.
I concur.
Yeah,
Laos is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. It's wild. And so there was this girl from Germany that I was traveling with for, I think we were about 2 days in, and we were somewhere on the Mekong and God knows where on the northern border. And she was like, "Hey, do you want to share a place tonight?" And I was like, "Say no more. Let's do it." So we got there, picked out the place. It was like $4, for this really nice place. And we have fun. We're traveling for the day, exploring. It was in Mongolia, if you guys know that area. And God, I hope she's not listening to this podcast. And so
She is.
And so yeah, then it's about time to hop into bed, and I'm laying there, and I just start like, oh man, my stomach fucking hurts, and I'm trying to ignore it, trying to play it cool, like, oh, I'm fine.
As you do when you have food poisoning and you're with a girl.
Yep, with a blonde girl from Germany that's about 6 feet tall.
Nice.
Yeah, for us trees that are at the 6'5", 2 meter mark, it's very nice. I said, I will be right back. And I got up and I went to the bathroom, and there's basically not even a wall between the bed and the bathroom. It's just all open air pretty much. And yeah, I just exploded. And I was, coming out of both ends, and I was really embarrassed. And I said, well, there goes that for the night. That's not going to happen. And then I come out, and she's throwing up off of the balcony.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, it's not just me.
Thank God.
Thank God. This is okay. Yeah, we got sick from Indian food, from a mango lassi.
Tough break. And then you guys went your separate ways?
Needless to say, well, no, we were hit pretty hard. And for about 2 days, we were bedridden. We could barely, get up to go get water.
Oh.
It wasn't like a 24-hour flash.
Oh, really?
It was a bad one. It was bad. And then after a few days, then we split.
Bummer.
Bummer, man.
Yeah.
That's life. Can't win them all.
I've had the two times I've ever gotten like bedridden food poisoning where I just couldn't really function except for poop, puke, and lay in bed.
Yep.
I was pretty much flirting very heavily, and it was being reciprocated by a gal.
Yeah, okay.
And it was one time was when I was just like on a little 3-week vacation in Thailand, and it was just something I couldn't muster through the stomach pains, and I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then she was left the next morning, and I was like, God damn it,
leaving on a high note.
Yep. One was about a year and a half later. I was up north in northern Thailand, and same deal. I think I had a bad breakfast, and throughout the day had a lovely day. Yeah. Just a beautiful day right around northern Thailand. Hung out at this little on the side of this beautiful lake outside of Chiang Mai.
Yeah, okay.
And just progressively the stomach just got worse and worse and worse, and it's like, I think I need to go back to my room. And I was in the room puking and shitting for a good 4 hours, and then just my body was just exhausted.
Yeah,
and
it's taxing.
Yeah, I was probably asleep for 12 hours.
Yeah, right.
And then the girl in the morning, she's like, "Well, it was nice meeting you. I gotta go."
Yeah.
I was like, "All right,
see you never."
Yeah. It was great flirting with each other.
Yeah, sorry about the sheets.
Yeah. Sorry about all the puke noises.
Yeah.
Such is travel.
These things happen.
Before we sign off, if anyone has seen or been through a traumatic experience, my guest has some words that may help.
I just wanted to say, for those of you that are listening, if you think you've seen something traumatic in your lives, whether a vehicle accident, or the death of a family member, or whatever it was, something that happened, something that you witnessed, you don't necessarily have to be a fireman or a medic to see traumatic things. You don't have to be a soldier to see traumatic things. Like, everyone sees that kind of shit. And I just want everyone to know that if you want to talk about it, please send me a message and we can meet up and we can talk about it, because it's very important that we get rid of that old school mentality that our parents have and our grandparents have of, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about what we just saw, and we're just going to let it sit and fester inside of us. Gone are those days. So we have to talk about what we've seen. So, if anyone out there has anything they want to talk about, let me know, and we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. And I'd be curious to hear the story, and of course want to help anyone that I can in any way that I can.
Thanks for watching, and remember to check out more videos from this channel. And also, don't forget to check out the whole podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. And don't forget to like and subscribe.